There's the Charles Jardine, duck's done. It's a really good pattern.
It's interesting.
So this is a fully mill 14 ultimate butterfly. This is about as big as I'll go on the ribs where I am. Size 14 like that. So let's get that some light thread. I remember a couple of years ago, I invited Ben Beckwith down on to fish the on Salisbury District with me, and it was mayfly time, and there was mayflies everywhere. They were all over the place, and we couldn't catch anything until we started fishing size 20 duck stuns, and then we started catching. We couldn't believe it because there was mayflies everywhere. They just wouldn't touch it. So we've got a size 14, run on some thread. I've got to do this pattern right, otherwise you'll never forgive me. So we want something traditional, like dry fly tails, like a sort of a cock happy fibre, but you want something a bit softer for this. So I'll use this partridge feather I got a bit left here still. So the same drill as before, tease out some fibres so the tips line up. Good. Feather's rubbish down there. So I'll try that again. There's a lot of damaged tips on that feather, so it wouldn't look very good. So unzip them off. So this is a done pattern, so sort of should have the tail about the sort of the same length as the shank, or I'd just like to tie them a little bit shorter. So just that'd be alright. Nice little tail on there. So I'll just run the thread up just to tidy this lot out up again. Same as before, cut on a taper so you don't end up with any nasty bumps on the fly. Just keep that nice and tidy. Run the thread back to the bend of the hook. So I want something, a nice soft natural dubbing in there. You can do whatever colours you want. Let's do a bit of mink or something. This is sort of mink under fur. It's good revenge. So again, you get a nice light, fluffy bit of dubbing. If it's all in a lump, you can't do anything with it. So you're just nice and light and airy. It just goes on the thread really easily then. Slide it up. And then, so you want it quite thin, try and get a nice bit of shape in and the same as before on this, so I've dubbed literally right up further than I need to, and then you've got a nice, so we're going to tie a wing in next, so now we've dubbed up further, we've got a nice sort of bit of dubbing, a nice bed to tie the wing onto. So the wing is a couple of CDC feathers. I always like to get a bulk bag from Steve Coops when I get me CDC feathers, and you get all sorts in it, but there's very, very little sort of wastage. It's all good, usable stuff. And it saves buying stupid, rubbishy little bags of CDC. I just get a big bulk bag and then you can normally get some really good wings and stuff out of it. He says. too feathers. They're a little bit fine, but they'll be alright. So with these CDC feathers, what you should do is tie them sort of back to back, so they're sort of both curl outwards. These haven't got a lot of curl to them, but. And then this is the important bit, is to line the tips up. So you get the tips nicely lined up. It's going to be our wing. It's quite a delicate one. Be a little bit heavier, but I'm sure that'll be right. So the wing length should be the same length as the shank of the hook. So I can offer that up. I don't know what, I always tie my wings too short on these, but I don't know, that's just me. So offer it up, that's our wing length. Tie that in at the back of the thorax. So I'm going to pinch and loop. So I've caught the thread in between finger and thumb. And I can just slide the thread down, keeping it on top of the shank. Get a few turns on, and you can check how it's looking. It looks pretty good to me. Get a few more turns on. Cut off our waist. Tie the butts down. So this wing is at the very back of the thorax, so now we need to tie a hackle in, which I've put away. Oh, that's the problem, I haven't seen much stuff here, isn't it?
So you're far better organised than many
Alright.
we get here. At least you got, all your materials for a fly in one bag.
Yeah, I try and sort of bag everything up so it's, try and make it easy so you're not. Right, that should be So, it's a nice dun coloured mackerel. I've got these recently, they're so buying a cape. Phil Holden at Flytime Boutique sells them. They're all white in red label grade. And they're quite cheap. It's quite a good deal, and you get a nice job lot of them for a nice, reasonably cheap. So it just means you've got to hunt a bit for the right size because you can't sort of see on the cape. But so I've got this hackle. I'm just going to expose the stem. And then I'm going to tie that on there. It's right on top of the wing, don't like that. So we've got the wing in, we've got hackle in. So now I'm going to dub the thorax. So I'll just use a slightly darker dubbing for the thorax. So I'll use a bit of muskrat for the thorax. I always like the thorax to be darker than the abdomen. You sort of, in nature, that's normally the case. So. The thorax a little bit fatter. But this is a brilliant done pattern. If you just tie like these in different colours and sizes, you won't go far wrong for fishing with duns. So now is the bit that everyone sort of forgets when they're tying these. Do your first turn of hackle. Always do at least 1 or 2 turns of hackle behind the wing. So it cocks it up.
I managed to cock up most of it.
Yeah, I was waiting for somebody to say that, something like that. So I'm not bothering with the hackle pliers because we've got a nice big long saddle hackle. So now I'm just, like you do with the palmer, winding through. So now I'm just going to wind up through the thorax. And then to the head. So I hold the feather up. 1, 2 turns on the feather. 2 turns in front. And you can trim off scissor points right in nice and tight. And finish. And then to do this fly properly, I haven't got the correct tool for it, but so that's not tight. So the thing is, this is a great done pattern, and to fish it, the original way to fish it, so it sits lower on the water, you get a cauterizer, which is like a little element, you put batteries in, you turn it on and it goes red hot, and you literally melt all the feathers underneath. I'm just going to cut this with a pair of scissors, so we could just...
So what's the advantage?
The advantage of the cauterizer is where it melts the feather as opposed to cutting it. You know when you melt a bit of rope, it ends up with like a big pad on the end, doesn't it?
Mhm.
But the same happens with a hackle stalk, so it ends up with a little pad on the end, so it's almost like a foot. So the feet sit on the water better than a cut. Oh, that's what I've been told, anyway. So, but we just use a pair of scissors.
So a blowtorch wouldn't hack it then,
No, and that's the thing. You've got to be really careful. Those cauterizers, when you put brand new batteries in it, you go like that and it just goes.
They'll do that when I get it.
Yeah, no. So you always got to get an old pair of batteries in it.
That's what Oliver Edwards does, doesn't he?
What
He gets his old batteries from his pals, but they run out. And he says it's just about right.
Yeah, because it's tame then. But you can see how now that's got nothing below it, so that just sits beautifully on the water surface. And that is probably I go down to sort of stupidly small with those, and they're just wicked. They're the best done patterns ever, I think. I haven't varnished the head on that, but so yeah, definitely recommend that one.
What
So it's
size
really
fly
cool.
those down to?
22s. No, definitely 20s. These
Excuse me.
yeah.